had never thought of that, but I figured, well, Jim Cameron wants to do it, fine with me, but he ended up not doing the movie. And then strangely enough, when the movie was done, the people who did the movie decided the same thing. They said, I think the webbing should be organic. So it wasn't my decision, but they were probably right, because the movie was so successful, and I guess since people like to see visual effects, it's certainly more exciting to see him swing from building to building the way he did than the way I would have done it, which would be to swing from that wall. If he's lucky, he'd make it as far as So that's the story of Spider-Man and the Web Shoes. I see a hand over here.
Did you feel that there was one period in comics that you thought was the best, like a decade, like the 60s or 70s? Did you like one of the time periods, and what celebrity were you most impressed with that you had?
What celebrity? Let's do that one first. The celebrity I was most impressed with that I met. Maybe Ronald Reagan. One day I was having dinner. Again, it was an award thing. And I happened to be sitting across the table from Ronald Reagan, who was no longer president. He had been president, now he was finished. And it was a narrow table, only this wide. So I'm sitting this close to Ronald Reagan. We're facing each other. I couldn't believe it. And he was the nicest guy, but I said to him, when you're sitting next to, that close to a guy, you got to make conversation. So I said, what does it feel like? How do you feel, Mr. President? You must be so happy that you're not the president anymore and you don't have all those cares and troubles of the whole world on your shoulders. And I'll never forget the answer he gave me. He looked at me like a kid with his eyes wide, and he said, no, Stan, I loved being president. I'll never forget it. With such enthusiasm. I loved being president. So I guess that impressed. Oh, I met President Bush, the last one, the little one, not the tall one. And there was an award ceremony a year or two ago in Washington. I got some kind of an award I didn't deserve. And it was a funny thing because there was an actress called Olivia de Havilland, you young people.
Oh, yes.
She starred opposite Errol Flynn in just about every movie he made. And she was a very big actress years ago. And she got an award, too, just ahead of me. So when the president gave her the award, he kissed her on the cheek. You know, usually you shake hands, but she was a woman, he kissed her on the cheek. So then I came up to get my award, and I said to him, I'm not going to have to kiss you, am I? And he started laughing. I laughed, and a guy took our picture. So now I got this picture on the wall of Bush and me, and we're both like, like we're best friends. So, now, there was another part of your question. You had said, even though my memory isn't as good as it was, I can remember this one. Which era of comics did I think was the best? I am no good at comic book eras because people often refer to the golden age of comics, the silver era. I have no idea what they mean by that. To me, whatever I'm doing, that's the golden age. But comics were different when I was writing them. Today, the artwork is so important. You know, the artists get back their own drawings. After they finish the page, they get the artwork.
Yes, thanks to you.
And they can sell it and make a lot of, even though they got paid for it from the publisher, I'm sure they make even more money selling the artwork at comic book conventions because it's so valuable now. So most comic books today, the artwork is the important thing. An artist will take so long to do a page, and he'll do a big panoramic scene, even if the story doesn't really call for it. But he knows when I sell this, I'll get more money if it's a big panoramic scene. So it's like the stories are dictated more by the artwork now than by the story itself. Whereas when I was writing the stories, the artists never thought about the fact that they're going to be selling these pages to make money. So they only drew what they felt was the best drawing to tell the story. And I think that's one little difference. Other than that, I don't really read the books anymore because I don't have time. So if there are any other differences, I don't know what they are. Yes?
Are you working on any new?
India.
Are you working on any new comic characters?
Yeah, I'm working on a few new ones. I have one called The Mighty Seven, which is coming out in a little while. And I bill it as the world's first reality comic book, like the reality TV shows, because it has real people in it. I have a major role in it. In fact, it deals with me looking for an idea for a new comic book. And suddenly a spaceship lands near me. I'm out in the desert somewhere. And 7 aliens get out of the spaceship. It crash landed. And each of them has a superpower. And I talk them into becoming superheroes and doing stuff and letting me write about it. And then I can make money writing their stories. And nobody will know that the stories are true. Everybody will think I made these characters up. And we're introducing a lot of real people in the story. Well, you'll see. Everybody will buy it. It's going to be a big hit. Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel that Disney bought Marvel? Do you think they would hurt your comics?
What about Marvel?
That Disney bought Marvel?
Oh, would that hurt the comic? No.
Yeah, you think they would like change it
No.
too much?
Disney bought Marvel Comics, and it was a very smart thing they did. No, it hasn't hurt the comics at all. They let them do just what they... Marvel does whatever it wants, because Disney is smart enough to know, don't tell them what to do. They know what they're doing. But now Disney just owns them and makes a profit from what Marvel does. But it's they don't interfere with Marvel at all.
No.
No. Let's see, someone who... over here.
How did you come up with the Spider-Man villains? Say that again? How did you come up with the Spider-Man villains?
The Spider-Man villains? With difficulty, it's hard to think. The villains are the hardest things to think of. You've always got to think of a new one. Fortunately, there are a lot of animals and stuff. So, like, there's the lizard, the vulture, the rhino. Whenever I'm stuck, I just think of some animals that would make him a villain. The villains are the most fun when you're writing comics. You've written about the hero month after month. There isn't much more you can say about the hero, but you have to come up with a new, colorful villain all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And you just think of what I always think of is what would I like to read about. I know writers who say, I write stories for people between the age of 14 and 20, or between the age of 28 and 40, or I write for this audience. I don't know how to do that. I write for myself. I just try to write stories that I would enjoy reading. And I figure if I like them, I'm not that different. Oh, maybe I'm a little better, but I'm not that different than a lot of other people, so other people will like them too. And the question was, I guess, how do I dream up the villains? I don't know. You just sit and you think until you have something that seems good, And maybe I'll think of a new villain, the question asker.